Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. So the first question, we will just read what we have gone through. Every time when we go through the question, we may get a new approach. Too many people are not satisfied. That's what they felt. Many people are not satisfied with their own life. They are not satisfied with their own work or study or society and even with their own family members and relatives. What can be said about that dissatisfaction? An increasing dissatisfaction which brings suffering, pain, anxiety, fear, stress. And then life, at times you feel it becomes a burden. This creates envy, greediness, jealousy, resentment, violence, anger. We always compare, his life is better than mine. So what is the right medicine with no side effects? That was the first question. Medicine with no side effects. So the question started. People are not satisfied with their own life. We look back to our own life, we'll be able to find out whether the statement is right or not. We aim at something, we put in our efforts, we struggle hard, and then we attain, thinking that will satisfy me. But the moment I get it, I lose it. And therefore all the other appendages come. Because again the dissatisfaction comes. After my struggling, in spite of all these things, I will say, in spite of my struggling, in spite of my tyag, in spite of my expertise, why am I subjected? Why he is not suffering, he is not taking this, he is not doing this, and he is enjoying it, I am not enjoying it. Very practical question. So then the answer was, it is because of grumblings and complaints. So first of all, we should try to fill our mind with positive reality, not positive theory, positive reality. So when we try to know what all we have, what all we have been blessed with, then we find a cushioning to all these negativities. So we will be freeing ourselves from grumblings and complaints. We will slowly feel satisfied with any situation. It will take time, no doubt. A spiritual background will definitely help. subservience to a higher deity, higher power, going back to our own sources. It will not happen. We will not get it only when we take to the spiritual approach. The simple truth that I am what I am is because of the factors other than me. Then we move to the next question. What occupation should I employ to get such a spiritual approach? Then here again the answer is that every field is okay. No field is taboo. That was what yesterday we discussed. And today let us see what is the third question. Every day we have to recap these questions so that, to those of you who are hearing, if you come out with something from your own, you can share with us. Number 3. Before we go to the number 3, yesterday it was elaborately discussed that spirituality, how will I accept every situation as conducive for my complete life, satisfied life? How do I get satisfied? So the God has given us, the Creator has given us two things. What are they? Creativity and humaneness. Spirituality expresses itself also in the form of creativity and humaneness. Creativity comes out from intelligence. Anything that we handle, suppose we bring in this dimension at home, in the office, with friends. Creativity. Not theoretical brain, no? Theoretical brain is, you keep this here, yes. You keep it here, yes. Not reflective, not contemplating. But suppose I do that, why am I keeping it here? How should I keep it? No? It should be useful. So I will not just throw it. I will see what he has read. What is it that he gives importance to that paper or book? Like that, so many things, reflective. Even a small, tiniest thing, we will start reflecting and doing. So creativity is not something that we produce only. Creativity comes out of lot of so many things, and if it has to become useful, it should go along with it. And whatever we create or do, whatever the intelligence makes, it should be useful to the others. In thought, word and deed, this should be there, this vigilance should be there. Every word we utter, every thought we think, every act we do, we should ensure that it is not detrimental to the interest of others. We are human beings, we have to behave like a human being. What is the difference between animal mind and a human mind? Start thinking. We have been blessed with human beings. Human birth. Durlabam trayamevai tat devanugraha hetukam manishyatvam mumukshatvam mahavurusha samshaya. Manishyatvam. In the Viveka Chudamani, it is clearly explained. These three are very rare. Only by God's grace we can get it. Devanugraha hetukam. What are they? Manishyatvam. A human birth. Mumukshatvam. Intense aspiration to realize it. Then Mahavurusha Samshaya, the company of great souls. So we are all privileged ones, we are all the blessed ones. We have been the chosen ones. Let that be there in our mind. So he has given us a lot of faculties We will make use of it for the betterment of our co-creation. It will never be me to me. It will always me to we. To me not me, we to we. So these two are very important. Then any place, any work is okay for us. We have shared this, but again we will share this experience. That was in our period when we were working in a company. So one of the sales representatives reported that our authorized dealer, when he went there, he saw a competitor's product exhibited there. So he got highly offended. So he wrote a report saying that it is prominent there, conspicuous person. This is the wrong thing. This has to be pointed out. So as soon as we read out, when it was marked for us, we read out, we wrote a very strong letter. Unethical. There's so many words we used. So when the draft went to the assistant manager's table, he called us. He said, why should we think that he has deliberately done? No, sir, this cannot be permitted. If we set a precedent, so many others will do. Okay. Why should you think he deliberately did this? No, otherwise, why should he exhibit it? Now, suppose you are the dealer. To you, customer is more important. When the customer comes with suppose he has got the vehicle is on the road and he wants a particular part. He comes there. He is not available with you. Your anxiety is to see that the customer's demand is met with. You immediately go to somebody and make him to sit. You will solve it. And suddenly you send somebody to another. It may be a competitive product. It is given. He is satisfied. Probably till he gets the supply from us, he wants to place it there. So why should you think he has deliberately done? Just think, how you are building up. Even then we cannot, okay. So to you, your customer is important. To him, his customer is important. And you cannot reach the consumer without a trader, without the authorized agent. To you, he is the customer. And the first lesson we learned from business is customer is always right. We have to approach this with this. So why should we think that we have deliberately done? Anyway, we are not forcing you. Think over this, and if you feel that the same letter should go, I will sign. He gave back the letter. We went back, started thinking. Yes, it could be like that. Because whenever somebody places any order, not that immediately we will be able to supply. Some stocks may be there, some stocks may not be there. We have to get it from the head office and then only we can pass it on. There may be in a couple of weeks or even 1 month's time. In the meantime, his customer comes, he has to meet with the customer. Suppose he doesn't oblige the customer, he is losing a customer. Here the customer will come back to him again because he is not bothered whether his stock is there or not. His primary concern, quality, care and concern is for the customer. That links him with that authorized agent. Yes, we were convinced. We redrafted. We remember still the wording that we know out of compulsion you would have done it. But still, if it is exhibited by an authorized agent, we feel it doesn't look nice. Hope you will understand the situation. Something like that, mellowing, And before signing, he again called, are you satisfied? The humaneness, When we take up this topic, all these things start parading before us. Spirituality is 100% connected with our daily life. 100%, not 99. So creativity and humaneness. Think about it. We try to understand it through our own experience. Otherwise it is somebody's, It's a theory we can read and move it. But when you apply, when you see it in your own life, at that time you would not have brought this dimension. But now you are bringing the dimension. Correct. This man, that is called a manager, not clerical. He applies his mind. He doesn't simply say, okay, I sign it. He applies his mind, seeing it from both aspects, creativity as well as humaneness. Now we realize they are the expressed form of spirituality. So like that we keep on weaving in our own life experience with whatever theories we get. Then it becomes our own. It gets stamped in our heart. It will have its own impact on whatever we thought, whatever we talk, whatever we do. And this will slowly lead us to Him. Because humaneness means, again, a little more reflective. You identify yourself with a wider dimension. Initially with the family members. Then when we go to school, with our colleagues, with our teachers, co-students, some teachers, some co-students. Then we enter into college life or professional life, friends, our superiors, our subordinates. Humaneness means what? Now we try to understand here. Identifying ourselves with them. When something happens to them positive, we are happy. When something happens to them in a negative way, we are not happy. Geographically, individually, you are separate. But still it disturbs you. That is humaneness. That means the common denominator is recognized unknowingly. The one in you and the one in them is unknowingly recognized. We don't give a name, that's all. But it is recognized. So humaneness, when we try to practice this creativity and humaneness, slowly it will lead us to the inner core of our being. Slowly we will be led inward to have a glimpse or have a first-hand experience of the inner core content. Again here what is needed is, we have to be reflective. Not staying at the superficial level. Superficial level, if you do that, we will not be able to get a peep into the original. We enjoy a banana fruit only after peeling off the skin, Anything that is inside is the one which gives us joy. Though the outer things are absolutely necessary to protect it. But the real one that makes us joyful is the inner content. To see a fruit is alright, it's also joyful. But to eat it, see the difference. So we try to see and slowly, who is behind. Only this reflective and contemplative method will take us in. Behind everything. Not at the superficial level. The third question is karma ineluctable, or may we change it by sattvic way of life? May Kripa, divine grace, modify the flow. That means we have been told we are caught in the karmic wrangle. At the moment we have got this body, mind, intellect and the situation because according to our Shastras, it is all preordained by our previous karma. So the question is, can we change it through sattvic approach? Can we change it through divine grace? Let us see what is the answer. According to what we have been told, we are caught in the wrangle of karma. mainly because we have forgotten our real nature. We think ourselves as individual, no? We have assumed a role of sense of doership. Therefore, the pairs of opposites are there, like good and bad, positive and negative. That is the cosmic science. If a positive thing happens, we have to enjoy a positive situation, and when negative things happen, we will have to undergo negative situations. If we try to diagnose and try how to get rid of it, how to get away the freed from it, the only option before us is to go to the core of our being and see whether the sense of individuality assumed by us is real or not. It may look a tall order. I am caught in the web of this karmic wrangle. So how am I to? Do I have any freedom? Yes, you have the freedom only when you know who really is caught in the karmic wrangle. As Papa has asked us, your job is, your quest is to know your as well as the world's source, where from you have come. Our own original source. So when we try to do that, whatever that is affecting the sense of individuality, we will find slowly, the impact will be less and less. Not that it will go away, but the impact will be less and less. We have been told that the moment we realize that we are only puppets or instruments in the hands of God, the sense of doership will not be there. It means that every thought which comes out in the form of a word and then in the form of a deed owes its origin to that base, awareness. The thought can come only from a thoughtless state, just as the light can exist only on a lightless substratum. Change can exist only on a changeless substratum. For example, we are seeing a movie, so many motion pictures are passing on the screen. The motion is possible because there is a motionless substratum called the screen. When we move from one place to another, we walk, movement is there. Movement is possible because there is a motionless substratum called the earth. So motion is possible only on a motionless substratum. Change is possible only on a changeless substratum. So too a thought can exist only on a thoughtless substratum. Thoughtless state is not negative. Here it is absence of thought. That is called awareness. In Vedantic language or Indian philosophy, it is called awareness absolute. Not awareness of something, but awareness absolute. So in this awareness, the thought comes, but the thought forgets that it owes its origin to that. Then we develop a sense of individuality, get caught in the wrangle of birth and death, suffering and enjoyment all. But a day comes when it suddenly realizes that it owes its origin to that base. Then whatever it has to its credit so far, it has to enjoy or suffer, but beyond that point, it doesn't have to. That is what our scriptures say and our masters say. So our ultimate aim is to know the inner content. Creativity and humaneness originate from our inner content. Where from does it come? Suppose you pause for a moment and think. Suppose you come out with some software. You come out with something new. Where from did it come? It comes just like a flash. It's not a product of a thought process. If you closely analyze those moments, when you come out with brilliant ideas, it just comes like a flash. Take it that it is not out of a thought process and everything is original. So we are slowly led to our inner content. And when we get ourselves stabilized in it, we have been told that we will be able to witness all our thoughts. So we have nothing to do with the thought. That is how we have to become free from the karmic wrangle. Apparently, we are still in the karmic wrangle, but we will not be affected by it. Just like when we touch something that is burning, our hand or leg also will get burned, but we will not make a big mess of it, We know that if you touch it, it will happen. Similarly, so long as the sense of individuality is there, all these pairs of opposites are bound to come. And nobody will be able to free completely from the sense of individuality, so long as the body is there. So the karmic wrangle will work at that level. But by His grace, when we try to move towards Him, we will be able to absorb the shock. The cushioning will be there. That is what is called the witnessing. It will not affect us deeply. Anything. Whenever any negative things happen, any negative impact is there, we will not be affected to that extent. We will be able to absorb it. We will try to see the reason behind it. So it is not that, we will be free from karmic. No. Somebody beautifully said, this top, what do you call it? Kambaram. When you roll it and then leave it, it has left your hand, but it doesn't stop, It has to have its own run. Then only it will stop. Karma is something like that. It has been initiated. So it has to have its own end. The momentum has to go by itself. There is a law. There is a physical law. Something that controls the, what do you call that? The speed. You can watch that. It is left to me. I have already done it. Then, when you play football or when you play badminton, it is easy to understand. You strike it. It goes there, no? The force of your strike. It has left yours, the bat or whatever you call it. Even cricket. Everything, it has to have its own course. You cannot do anything else. You are given the batting, finished. But it has to have its own course. It can end in boundary, it can end in catch, it can end in sixer, it can end in 1 or 2 runs. You have no choice. The moment it has left your bat, you have no choice. So similarly, every karmic action has got its own run. We have absolutely known. Only whether it should be there at the beginning. That is the only one. So when I identify myself with Him, then it will not affect. When I identify myself with this sense of individuality, it will affect. Only by reflection you will be able to. You lost your connection. I enter so, as we have been repeating it, there could be so many other dimensions for these questions. This is one aspect of this. This answer is not final. Each one has to reflect in terms of one's own experience. Then we will find what God has given us through that particular experience. Every one of us. This is very important. We can proceed in spiritual journey only when we do this reflection, contemplation. Today we casually went through In Quest of God, the first page and the last page. You got this now? The first line, the first chapter. You must have heard in the Bhagavad Gita, first Arjuna says, I am totally confused. And he left the Gandiva and sat and asked Krishna. And in the 18th chapter, after hearing all the discourse, he said, I am free from all my doubts, everything. I will do what I actually do. Similarly, here the first line, for nearly a year, Ramdas struggled on in a world full of cares, anxieties and pains. The last line of the book. Ramdas stays by Ram's command in a cave called Panchapandava Cave in Kadri Hill and lives there a serene life, devoting his whole time in talking about, writing of and meditating on that all-loving, glorious Ram. First line, full of tension. Here he says, serene, calm. So that is the content, That is the content of. But here again he says, meditate. That is what is contemplation, reflection. Ramdas says by Ram's command in a cave called Panchapandava Cave on the Kadri Hill and lives there a serene life, devoting his whole time in talking about, writing and meditating on that all-loving, glorious Ram. It just struck to us that Papa is giving this message. Okay, during the Sannyas centenary, we start from December 27 to next year 27. We have been prompted to intensely go through In Quest of God. Not to know Papa's life. Not to read as a travelogue of Papa's life. No. He has given us a life before us. To what extent the contents help me in solving the problem, in reaching the ideal, in first of all giving clarity to the ideal to be scaled. So this content, that is why it's called Life Manual. Do I see the various episodes, anecdotes appearing in this book? Is it an anecdote relating to Papa? Then I am not much interested. Because it is somebody's, What had happened in 1922 and what is going to happen in 2021. That is last. No, it's not like that. It is a life manual. And the life manual can be conveyed only through anecdotes. So try to find out remedial measures God suggested through Papa, which is applicable to everyone at all times. Look at that. To go plumb deep into it and find out. First clue he has given. He started with stress and the end became very peaceful and serene. Like that we have to. First line and the last line. In Bhagavad Gita he says, Karishye Vadanam Tava. Whatever you do, the Lord gives him a freedom. Yethechasi tatavi. Whatever you feel like you do. But Arjuna said, no. You have cleared everything in my mind. So similarly, when we approach life and its problems, it can be made possible only when we become reflective. That is the key. So karmic triangle, we will be able to free ourselves from the sense of burden. Not that we will be free from it, but that the feeling of bearing that burden, it will become less and less and less. How? Only by reflection. Only by going through internally. Only by knowing the relationship between him and me. All these things are. That's why in glimpses, in glimpses, that particular, that attracted us. Yes. Using glimpses, first try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect, and then embarking on the realm of the spirit, realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. This constitutes religion or spirituality. The moment we take up this book, the first clue Papa gives is, you are okay, when I do Ramnam, I should know, why I am doing it. When I do bhajan, I should know why I am doing it. When I do Swadhyaya, I should know why I am doing it. So here he says, try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, very important, this is called reflection. Systematized process of thought and discipline, not merely thinking. A disciplined life. Not merely a disciplined life. A reflective, contemplative. By a systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend, go beyond what has been conceived by you, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect. That means me and mind. To put it in an easy language, me and mind. Transcend the me and mind. And then embarking on the realm of the spirit, the one in everybody. Realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. So when we are talking about freeing ourselves from the karmic triangle, it has been suggested the only remedy is to make an effort to understand our real nature. Initially it may be at the intellectual level, then slowly and gradually it will be at the experiential level. So may we all be blessed to take this path with this background, so that we will be able to make use of the sadhana we are doing, namely Namdhyan Seva, for achieving this goal. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram